Okay, good morning guys, Mama Me here. Today we are going to make some lentils. Now, the way I'm making the lentils today, you can use the base as a sloppy joe, or you can put it over rice, or on your roll, however you'd like to eat it. Thin it down a little bit and you can eat it out of a bowl, just like a lentil soup. Alright, so we're going to start with our onions.
I don't think it's going to change anything. It's more of an entertainment.
I'm going to, this is a sweet onion. Gonna cut this up. I got a little bit of water in my pan. I'll saute these in water. No oil today at all.
Did Trump keep this story alive by denying it on Today Show, or at least?
Okay.
No, I think Heidi's right about that.
In the pan.
Same thing that it might otherwise have been, because
I think I'm also going to go ahead. I like onion, so I'll use the other half too. Once it dissolves in your food, it really cooks down. Doesn't really dissolve, but it cooks all the way down. I mean, you can't even tell how many onions you have in there. It just gives it a really good taste.
And then he goes out there and tries to deny it.
Sometimes, you use the regular onions, the yellow onions, and if you don't like heat, they have a little heat to them. I like my onions on the sweeter side. So sometimes I'll use the yellow ones to cook with. These are a little bit more expensive, and I usually use these to put on a sandwich, or if I'm making some fried onions for a burger, I'll use the sweet ones. But the yellow ones you can certainly use to cook with.
Picture of Donald Trump on the one hand.
Then I'm going to go ahead, and I have already cut up and frozen. I have some orange peppers, which are, like green peppers, except I find these being a little bit more on the sweet side. Your green your green pepper is just kind of your basic green pepper. The red pepper, the yellow pepper, and the orange pepper, I don't know, I just think they're a little bit more sweeter. Certainly don't have to use the colored peppers. You can use the green if you'd like. Totally your choice. So that's about a pepper like a large pepper that I put in there. So I always double bag when I cut up my vegetables and put them in the freezer. I don't like to get any frost on my food that I put into the freezer. Then I also already have cut up some celery. This is organic celery. Again, I got this on sale, that's why I bought it. But you certainly don't have to buy the regular celery. I go by whatever my wallet can afford at the time. I'm not going to stop eating vegan because, I can't afford organic. And a lot of people think that eating vegan is expensive. It's really not. I mean, what do we mainly eat? We eat beans and we just change the dishes around. It's when you start buying organic that things get expensive. So if you've watched any of my videos, you know I have this little gadget. Let me get rid of this. I don't like any kind of messes when I'm trying to cook. I always try to have everything out of my way, and I always clean as I go. If I have any dishes or whatever, I always clean them as I go. And I always cut off the end where it's connected. I'll show you. See, like this piece right here where it's connected? I always cut that off because it makes them easier to peel. You give it a try and see what you think. And then this little black gadget that I have here, it works so well when you're trying to do a lot of garlic. A lot of times I get a great big bag and I'll cut them up and I'll freeze them. So you can imagine sitting here trying to peel off all the skin from garlic. It's quite a task. So this makes getting the skin off of your garlic like 1, 2, 3. Okay, see that big piece there? Well, we're gonna take that off. Okay, and you could do like 3 at a time. Skin is off. It's like magic. Really works well. Just give it a couple turns. That's all you have to do. Now this was a whole head of the garlic. Watch how quick I have the whole head done. This little one don't want to peel. This is being stubborn. This one, but I'll get it this time. Or not. Huh. Okay, that's off. That's off. Got it. All done. Now you see that took but a few minutes. That whole head of the garlic is done.
Given that the Democratic Party is almost like, it's close to majority non-white, I just do not think that Trump is the earthquake that anyone in the Democratic Party is looking for.
It's true about the Trump cabinet, which is in talking to some Republicans, they've said, well, if he puts Chris Christie in here and
okay, so then what I do is I take my garlic
in the people he might surround himself with,
and I just cut them into like little slices.
give them stability.
Each one I'll cut into a little slice. You don't have to be a chef to do this. It's easy peasy. Just watch your fingers.
I think, though, foreign policy establishment of the Republican Party are the least attached to the
Always pay attention to what you're doing when you work with a knife.
China and our ties with our allies, just basic things, which is also in the Gates interview as well. These are
And you really have to have the right equipment, especially when you're trying to chop things. Make sure you have a nice sharp knife.
participate in the Trump administration.
when you're going to chop. It makes things so much easier. Okay, so every one of those are sliced. What I have is this little gadget right here, and all I do is pull this little bar down there, and it's totally stuck. Now, I'll sharpen my knife. Easy as can be. No playing around, I get it done. Okay, look, I'll pop it up. Done. Always make sure you clean your knife after you sharpen it.
You know what? Let's treat ourselves. Enjoy free hot breakfast with the Salt Glass of free Wi-Fi. Get the 20% off as a Hilton Honors member at Hampton.com.
Wipe it off after you're done washing, it, and then chop up. Hold your knife like this. Make sure the tip is always down, and then lift. Lift, lift, lift. That's what chops. Lift, lift, lift. See there how easy? Nothing to it.
Intelligent Safety Shield Technologies.
Make one go for a ride?
So we enlisted some everyday experts on the front with rear cross traffic alerts.
Takes a few times over it. You could chop it down into very little pieces in no time at all.
Save on with a $159 per month lease on the 2016 Altima, or lease Sentra for just $109 per month. We might be out of touch. Shop your local Nissan store and choose Nissan.com today. Sure, we have free Wi-Fi and free hot breakfast, but our best amenity is Samantha. Free Wi-Fi, free hot breakfast, free.
Cutting board, any cutting board will do. I have this little flexible one that I like to work with because I can pick it right up and fold it and just pop it right in the pan. So this is good enough for me. You may like yours bigger, you may like them smaller than this, however you like it. It's all up to you.
In your experience, I think every president has advisors.
So then I'll go ahead and pop it in.
Special relations.
See, fold it up,
In particular,
pop it in, get this out of the way.
those advisors tend to be very senior and very
Just rinsing this off for a second,
extraordinarily close relationship between the first president
drying my
and
hands.
Security Advisor Brent Scowcroft. I think I had a very close relationship with Bush 41 as Deputy National Security Advisor, sort of the same level position that Mr. Rose has. So I think
Grabbing, I like to work with wooden spoons.
people that they can trust.
Let you see
Keep
this.
themselves around, people that let their hair down and say what they really think.
We're gonna cook it till it's translucent, so, which means you're not really gonna fry it, you're just softening it where you can kind of see through the onions.
that they've appointed.
That brings out the flavor of the onions
Criticism of the Obama administration.
and all the other vegetable as well.
Block or shape or try to shape the views of senior cabinet.
So then for my seasonings,
Do you experience that in your days?
No, I never had that.
I use
Because I just didn't have.
chili powder. I use garlic powder.
Always.
I use Italian seasoning. I use Mrs. Dash extra spicy, which is hot. I use cumin,
More often than not would end
some salt.
disagreeing with Barry.
I always use some crushed
Standing up, smiling, and saying.
red peppers.
So I think.
And then I'm going to use some onion powder. Even though I put onions and garlic, I still like extra.
He obviously didn't.
Okay.
Way all the time by any means, but I'm not sure how many people there are left in the administration at this point who are willing to.
So now while this is cooking up a little bit,
One of the conclusions some have drawn in reading that
I'm going to add my spices because it's about ready for spices.
shaped the environment of the Iran deal.
That way my spices will be cooking right up with this.
Iran deal and its
and it'll be releasing the flavors of the spices and releasing the aromas of the spice, which really is nice. Okay, so I'm going to do a teaspoon of cumin.
To change its stripes and become a normal country, if you will.
I use cumin in so many dishes that I cook with, especially when you're plant-based or vegan.
In that article,
You know, it's great for beans and so many dishes.
Establishment.
Okay, then my
The thing that
chili powder.
there was also this
I'm going to use,
establishment.
let's see, I'm going to say two teaspoons of chili powder.
About it is the notion
That's 2. A little more, a little less, whatever you like. Onion powder,
presumably includes meat.
about a half.
In Libya. It presumably includes George Shultz,
Okay,
rid of nuclear weapons, along with Bill Perry, former Secretary of Defense.
garlic,
The mob is as diverse in its
a half.
as any group of people.
Half a
That's
teaspoon.
The one thing that members of that elite group have in common.
All right,
And some of them have given
your Italian season,ing
past
I'll use
advice. But to lump everybody together.
2 teaspoons.
And really the candidates kind of do that. And to say,
Now this is when you get to your hot stuff.
dismiss an awful
And you know what I'm going to do instead of using my red flakes?
on the challenge.
I have,
How to deal with them.
the president's characterization of that establishment was that the reaction to any event.
I have chopped up already hot peppers.
The irony of it is,
And I'm going to use these.
interventionally, I mean, my reaction.
You don't have to. I really like them, so I'm going to use them.
Again, before you go looking for a third one. So again, I think that there's
And this is hot, as you see. Hot. So I'm putting a tablespoon because I like mine spicy.
Atlantic article also said that he was proud of
Salt.
his decision
I'm going to use a pinch, not a lot.
to line moment.
I'm going to say this was a quarter of a
That's the
teaspoon.
thing the president should be proud of, his decision not to act.
I would separate that into 2 questions. Should he have laid down the red line?
All right, let's move all this out of the way. We're going to stir it up.
He laid down a red line. Should he have taken military action? First of all, I believe,
Nice.
and always caution, the president should be
All right. Also, I'm going to add a little bit of sugar to this for the sweetness. So what I use is coconut sugar.
The United States makes a threat. It is not a nothing threat. So I don't think he should have ever made the threat.
Okay, I'm going to use a scoop, which is about a
Whether
teaspoon.
he should have used air power early on to either create safe haven.
This is easy as can be.
Air Force.
Then I'm going to use some cider. This is the Bragg cider.
Of American combat
It's organic.
Syria.
And it's the apple cider raw and unfiltered. So for this, I don't normally measure, but
Well, you know, there-
to show you guys, I'm going to measure.
As to the extent that I'm
That's about 2 tablespoons. Or 2 teaspoons, sorry, 2 teaspoons.
on the Democratic side. It was my experience.
Vinegar is always nice with lentils.
She was very tough-minded. And, for example, when General
Okay.
was asking for 40,000 additional troops in Afghanistan, she was very tough in support of what the general wanted. She also was an advocate for going into Libya, so I suspect, although we have not had a conversation since I left, in almost 5 years, I would suspect that generally speaking, she is more
I'm now going to add, I freeze my tomatoes too, the little tomatoes just like this. I wash them, I let them totally dry so they don't form ice. They're beautiful tomatoes. And instead of using canned tomatoes, most of the time, if I have these, I use the whole tomatoes. They're beautiful. I'm also going to put a few cut up carrots in here. Frozen. I freeze them. And that's only equal to about 1. You know what? I'm going to put more than that. I like carrots in my lentils. If it has any ice or anything on them, just wash them off, get the ice off, and throw them in, which I just did. Okay, now I'm getting ready to add some broth, which will be some vegetable broth. Okay, vegetable broth. Gonna go ahead and add okay. Stir it up. Then comes my lentils. My lentils, I have a cup of lentils. I take them, I wash them, I sort through them to make sure that there's no stones or anything in them. There we go. Let you see what that looks like again. All right, now we'll cook this up a little bit. I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of organic tomato paste. If I don't use the whole can of tomato paste when I open it, I freeze it. I try not to let anything go to waste. All right, so we have that all simmering down now. After this cooks down just a little bit, we're going to add water. I'll add my lid now. Okay, I also add, because I'm making this, and usually it goes on top of a sloppy Joe. I use it as a sloppy Joe on a roll or on top of rice or whatever. I make it just like I'm making sloppy Joe, except I'm using the lentils instead of meat. So I have organic tomato ketchup, which I will put about 2 tablespoons. And then this is organic spicy brown mustard. I'll use about a tablespoon. All right, and then you're gonna cook this all up.
Go to mypillow.com or call now.
And I'm actually gonna add the water now.
Absolutely free.
Call or go to mypillow.com now. Use the promo
And I'm gonna add,
My Pillows for the price of one.
I added a cup of lentil. So to this, I'm going to add 2 cups of water.
Absolutely free.
Okay, I'm getting the water.
Our tomatoes aren't doing so well.
I told Tia that maybe she'd want
1 cup.
to cut it back and use the Miracle Grow.
Hey, 2 cups. See how easy this is? I mean, there's really nothing to this. It's so easy. I'm going to turn it down, and now it's going to simmer for at least a half an hour, maybe 40 minutes. And this is delicious. I'm not kidding. This is really, really good. Tonight when I eat it, I'll show you how I'm going to eat it. I haven't quite decided yet, but I'll let you see it. It's delicious. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you in a little bit. We'll let this cook down.
Real or was that
Turn it on probably medium-low.
I don't say, oh,
And then I'll come back and show you exactly what it looks like.
when somebody
Okay, guys, I'm back with my lentil. So here it is, and I have peas on the bottom. And I put a little bit of garlic and onion powder. Now I'm going to put sriracha on top of my lentils because I like it. All right, and then what I'll do is I'll take lettuce, and then I put my lettuce. I gotta make sure I get enough greens. I take my lettuce and I spread it all around. Sometimes I put it on the bottom, but I don't always like my lettuce to wilt up.
And use the Miracle Grow.
So there we go, we're in. This is delicious, and it's a full balanced meal, and it hardly has, you know, there's no fats in there. You know, what's not healthy on this plate? Every single thing. So give it a try, guys. Like I said, take your lentils, put them on bread or rolls as a sloppy Joe, put it over rice. You're actually substituting the lentil for ground beef. So you can do anything that you would do with your ground beef, you can do with lentils. Okay, subscribe, comment, like. If you have any other recipes that you have for lentil, turn me on to them. Let me know. Give me some other recipes. And if you try this recipe, take a picture and send it to me, and I can see what you think of it. All right, thanks very much. Lots of love going your way, and see you later.